Start? Yeah, we're good. Okay, we can start. Добрий день, я щаслива быть с вами. And that's all the Russian I know, so I apologize that this will be in English. Before we start, there are papers for this group. So while I'm speaking, please take one yellow, one blue, and one large page. Okay? This is your homework. All of you are okay. All right. One yellow, one blue, one large page. Okay. I'm going to speak today about work that I began when I started my dissertation work at the Harvard Business School in the PhD program in organizational behavior. But that wasn't the beginning of how I came to this work. For me, it was very important to understand why I do this. And it was only recently that I realized why I've spent a big part of my life doing this. When I tell this story, I cry a little bit. It's not very Russian to cry in public. Forgive me. I will also stop crying very quickly if I start. Coca was an employee at a large insurance company. It was in the 1950s. She had come as an immigrant from Eastern Europe after the war, and she came with her sister, her mother, and her brother who had to come through Canada. They were displaced persons after the war. She had finished her bachelor's degree on a full tuition scholarship at a university in Iowa, and had come to Chicago and was working to support her family and try to make sure they were okay. She was on a legal track to immigration. But at the time, the insurance company was starting to work with computers. And so in addition to her complicated auditing job, she was asked also to learn to use computers, including punch cards with a stack this big, right? Old computer. This added 4 hours to her daily requirements of work. That was hard enough, but then suddenly her immigration lawyer called and said, if you don't go back to school within a week, you will be deported, and we have no country to send you back to. So she went back to school and was studying chemistry at night. So soon she was sleeping 1 hour a night or 2 hours a night. And you can predict what happened. She was unable to sustain it. And suddenly, instead of letting them fire her, she quit her job. But because of all of the things that went along with that, she really never recovered. Professionally, she was hurt. The company lost an amazing employee because the company didn't understand that you can't keep pushing on people. You can't keep asking people to work more and work harder and sleep less. And if the company understood that all she needed was a readjustment to her work demands for 6 months, they would have had someone who was an extraordinary value. The recovery, like I said, never happened. And subsequently, Coca had physical problems that she wasn't able to take care of. She had sleep problems for 30 years after that, which resulted in physical problems and health issues that weren't necessary. And for someone who had already come from concentration camp, that's a bad thing. So Coca was my mom. And I watched for 40 years, more than 40 years, how hard that was and how that was unnecessary. It was absolutely unnecessary. If the organization simply stopped to say, you know what? Work one day less, come in on a Saturday afternoon. All that, one thing, change your position. If the attorney said, listen, I'm going to do this, we'll get you a special school program. All we had to do was be aware that our energy is finite, that there is a lot we can do to have the energy we need to do things. And if people are aware of what they need for themselves, then they can help the people around them. That's why I do this. And so your standing here helps me heal the world. So that's why I'm here, and I'm very happy you're here. And if it's comfortable for you to sit on the floor or stand on your heads, please you're welcome here. And now I will stop crying. So when I started this work, nobody knew what I was talking about. I was talking about wellness and health and what you need to do physically and what you need to do psychologically. And I was talking about things that I had learned through my life before even, and then learned more about when I got to school. Fortunately, 15 years later, I'm fashionable. Finally, the world is accepting that we need this, and so I'm glad to share this work with you. And it's work that we started at Harvard. It's been recognized by the Marshall Goldsmith 100 Coaches Group as one of the leading coaches in the world, and focusing on resilience, the ability to have the energy you need. I was just selected by the Thinkers 50 as the #1 resilience coach in the world, and that's really big because nobody ever talked about a resilience coach at all being important. So now this is important enough that. So the basis of what I'm talking about is in my book called Restore Yourself. It won an Indie Book Award. We're just going to touch the beginning of this. I want you to leave here with something. You're not going to learn everything. Leave here with a commitment to do one thing to make your life a little better. That's my ask, okay? One little thing, and we'll spend the rest of the time helping you get to that thing, okay? Good? Yes. All right, we're good. My first career, I was a dance anthropologist. So I move a lot, okay? Okay. So now we're going to give you a chance to try this out, just to see where you are right now. So please put your phones away. Take everything out of your hands except the blue card and a pen. If you have things in your hand, I want you to put them under your chairs. Okay? You need the blue card. Put your phones away. You can take them out later. Put them away. Put your phones away. Put everything under your seats except the blue card. Or if you want to hang your purse on the back of the seat, you're going to need your hands. I promise you will need your hands. Okay. We're going to start with a little self-test. If you don't have a blue card, do we have any more blue cards? Are there any more left? Okay, write on a piece of paper. You can write on a piece of paper, make your own blue card. You're going to make this. Okay? All right. So I want to know how much energy you have right now. I don't want you to be an optimist. Okay? How do you feel right now? For the first one, physical. How much physical energy do you have right now? 1 is almost nothing. 5 is really good. Okay? How much physical energy do you have right now? How much ability to run 3 kilometers? How much ability to stay awake? Be honest, okay? All right. Second, how much cognitive energy do you have? How much ability do you have to think, to solve a difficult problem? How much ability do you have to plan how Amazon will distribute all of the books in Russia? Right? Complicated. How much capacity do you have to think right now? Everyone have a number? Okay. C, how much social and spiritual energy do you have now? How much ability do you have to say, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. How much ability to receive feedback from someone which isn't very positive and just say, thank you. Okay? How much ability do you have to feel the support of people around you or to the things and entities that are not physically here? Everyone have a number? You have a number? Okay. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 is minimum energy, 5 is the most you can get. How much psychological and emotional resilience do you have now? How much capacity to be happy or to look happy when you're sad? How much ability to be patient when you're going on getting stuck in the traffic in Moscow with your 4-year-old who says, are we home yet? Are we home yet? Are we home yet? How much patience? How much ability to regulate your emotions? 1 to 5, how much do you have right now? If you are looking at low numbers and you're sad, don't worry, we'll fix it. Okay? Everyone good? Now, I need you to take everything that's in your hands and put it on your chair and stand up. Nothing in your hands. Yeah, I know, that's the hard part, nothing in your hands. Okay. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to high five or high 10 everyone you can reach. Go. Turn around, there are people behind you. On the side, above, reach far, far away, high up in the air, high up in the air, low down, everywhere you can get to. Come on, come on, come on. What are you waiting for? There's people. You can walk over. We're going over here. We're going to high five them. You guys are here too. Everyone's here. We're here. Let's go. We're here. That's it. Okay. Good. Okay. Stop. Freeze. Now let me get me a little ding. Here we go. Hold on. All right. When you hear this, we stop. Here we go. Okay. Stop. Okay. Now, when I count to 3, I want you to call out your favorite flavor of ice cream or your favorite brand of beer. And if they're the same, that's okay. Okay. When I count to 3, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to shout that out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah, very good. Okay. Now, on the count of 3, after 3, I'm going to have you please shout out your favorite unsophisticated television show, podcast, movie, but unsophisticated, okay? 1, 2, 3. Very good, okay. Now, I want you to clap this pattern. Please listen first. You don't know the pattern. Okay, listen first. With me. Oh, you're good. Okay, now we're going to do it 3 times in a row. Okay? You need both your hands to clap, so now you have to put your phone down. Yes, you're not invisible yet. Good, ready? We're going to do 3 times. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. Okay, now I'm going to have you high five everyone that you can reach. Wait, so in the rules of speakers, you never give two instructions, right? You give one instruction and then you wait. I am breaking the speaker rules. I'm going to give you two instructions. The first one is high five and high 10 everyone you can reach, including some of you on the end should go play with our friends over here. And then when you get to your seat, you turn to your neighbor and you tell them the story of your shoes. Because every pair of shoes has a story. You have 30 seconds to share, 30 seconds each, to share the story of your shoes. Two instructions. High fives, shoes stories. Go. Good. Go. Okay. High fives and shoes. Put down your phone. Okay, shoes. 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 Tell your neighbor the story of your you too, shoes. Shoes. Tell the story of your shoes. Okay, story of your shoes. Okay. Okay. Now, please take your yellow card. Take your yellow card. If you don't have a yellow card, just write on another piece of paper. Here. Who needs paper? Okay. Re-rate yourself. How do you feel right now? Right now. How much physical energy? Don't look at your old ones. I want to know how you feel right now. Fold the blue one up. None of this, no, don't look at your blue one. How do you feel right now? You don't need this. This is a secret. How do you feel right now? How much physical energy? B, how much ability to think? C, how much psychological, spiritual, and social energy? How much energy from people? And D, how much psychological and emotional resilience do you have? How much ability do you have to deal with things emotionally and physically? Does everyone have new numbers? Yes? Okay. Now look at your two pieces of paper and look for changes. What is the difference between blue and yellow? Okay. Who had something change? Raise your hand. Come on, who had something change? Yeah, okay? Okay. Who had some number go down? Tell the truth. Who had some number go down? Which category? Psycho-emotional. Which category? Something down. Physical. Something. Huh? Cognitive. Something went down. Which one, sir? What went down? Which category? Huh? B, okay. Okay, sometimes when you do all of this stuff, suddenly you notice that you're tired and you notice that you can't think. Who had something go up? Hands up. Something went up. Okay, nobody down here. Yeah, okay, okay. So Who had something in one category go up? 2 categories up. 3 categories went up. 4 categories went up. Wow, great. So the purpose of this exercise is to help you see something that we make mistakes about. If you come home from work and you are exhausted and you've done everything you can and you sit down and you say, I'm done. There's nothing left for me today. And instead you were going to go to the gym. Yeah, I'm just too tired to go to the gym. Or you're working on something that's very important and you're finished. You can't think anymore. And that's a problem because it really needs 2 more hours of work. Okay, that you have a narrative in your head that says, when I'm exhausted, when my numbers get low, I have to wait for them to come back up. I have to rest. No, you need to restore. So if I can change your energy levels by having you shout and clap and talk about shoes for 4 minutes, that means there's a lot that you can do to manage your energy, your personal resources, that I call them. And that's what I want to help you learn how to do. Okay? Sometimes you do need to go to sleep. And sometimes it is finished. But let's look at a different way of looking at this. Okay? That's my goal. And I always misplace the clicker, so I'll keep running in circles now. Okay. So I gave you a story about my mother, but in general, the reasons people should care about what we're calling resilience. If we had time, I would have you share with me what you think. I know you know all of this already, so it's already on the slide. Okay? We need to have energy to make sure we can stay in our careers and don't burn out. We need to know how to do this for organizations. If you aren't managing your energies, you're going to get sick. And I don't know if you admit this in public settings, but I will assume that at least a few of you have burnt out. I will assume that at least a few of you have gotten sick and have challenges in things. So if you don't take care of your energy and you don't take care of yourself, who's going to take care of you? Whose problem is it going to be? It's someone else. My mother was sick. My mother had problems. It landed on me. Now, I was happy to help her for years, and I'm lucky because we saved her life 3 or 4 times and she died healthy. That's a really good way to die. She died for me, that's right? She died healthy. If you don't take care of yourself, someone else has to. You have a personal responsibility to make sure you are okay. And because the most efficient, effective use of time and energy is for yourself. It's not selfish. It's not self-indulgent. This is an act of personal responsibility. That means doing all kinds of things that feel uncomfortable sometimes. It's more fun to take care of other people. It's much more fun to take care of other people. Taking care of yourself is not fun. It's not. Okay, a few people are egocentric maniacs, but mostly it's not. Okay. So the reason that after 40 years of research we haven't solved this, or 60 years of discussions about this kind of problem, is that we have a myth. Okay? And that's this myth. Work is depleting. It makes us exhausted. Non-work is restorative. It gives us energy. If that's the truth, what do we have to do? Is this mic on? Can I have this live? If work is restorative, or work is depleting, and non-work is restorative, how do you get resilience and energy? How do you get it? What do you have to do? Come on, this isn't hard. What do you have to do? Huh? Say that here.
Quit the job.
Yeah, you have to quit your job, right? Okay. What else, right? Anything? Yes.
Spend equal time for work and non-work activities.
Right. So you have to make sure you get enough work and non-work, and you have to keep trading off.
Sleep.
You have to sleep. Yeah, you need to sleep. We don't have sleep on there. Yes, please hand this back to her. Hang on. Could you hand this to her?
To read new book or to watch new film?
Okay, good. Okay, so basically, if you want to get balance, you have to spend as much time as possible not working. That's the answer. Go home. We're done. What's wrong? Okay, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this model? They gave it away. What's wrong with the model? Hold on. Where's my mic? Say it. Where? It works better when it's on. Now here, you can use mine.
So we need to work to have money?
Good point.
Somehow.
Good point. We need to work to have, most of us need to work to have money. What else is wrong with the model? Please hand the mic to her. Send that back for me.
We need to make sure that the work does not deplete us, but energizes us.
To try to make your work interesting, not to work.
Okay, so you need to try to make your work interesting. Okay, what else? I had more hands. Yes, back here. This gentleman and then that lady, and then we'll go on.
The problem is that we tend to think that work cannot energize us. That is the problem.
Sometimes work is energizing. And there's a lady back there.
There is no balance. Like work and hobbies should be friends.
Very good. There's not a competition between work and hobbies. Good. So I know the rest of you have answers because here you've already said it. Is there anyone who thinks that sometimes home life is not restorative? Does anyone have children? Does anyone have in-laws? Yes.
I think that if you love your work, it will bring you just benefits. And it will raise your level of energy. I personally have always dreamt of becoming a doctor. I have become a doctor, and it took me 7 years to get into the university, but today I'm happy that I'm working as a doctor.
Thank you. So, the model's wrong. Work and non-work are on one continuum. Restoration and depletion are on another. So we have to maximize restoration regardless of what we call it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go quickly. You will not memorize everything. Don't worry about it. Leave here with, if you have this idea, everything will shift. Just now things will shift. And you have the rest of your life to make this perfect. And you can all send me emails with questions, okay? Okay. So it turns out that resilience, that's having the energy you need for everything you need to be able to bounce back and keep your energy levels right, it turns out now we have data that says people who are energized are better at work. So there is no battle between work and non-work. There is no battle between work and having the energy you need. And just like in the workplace, giving people access to the water they need doesn't mean that they stop working and drink water all day, saying, water is good for me, so I'm going to drink water. No, there's no battle. It's simply being aware of people's energy needs is simply another awareness that employers need to have. Okay? It doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want. Oh, it makes me energized to talk on the phone all day at my work, so I'm going to do that. Okay? I'm not saying that. Okay. Okay. Here, for those people who like numbers in work, this is just in North America. $300 billion a year is lost on extra health care and missed work. That's just stress. $300 billion US dollars a year. When people don't sleep enough, it was 1.2 million working days each year are lost because people didn't sleep enough. And enough is, this data says 7 hours or more every night. The number that the human number that we aspire to is 8.5 hours of sleep opportunity each night. Sleep opportunity means you are in bed, you are done doing whatever it is you do in bed, in the living room, on your technology. You are finished with everything. The lights are off, the technology is off. You close your eyes, and now you need 8.5 hours of sleep opportunity. So raise your hand if on average you leave yourself 8.5 hours of sleep opportunity a night. Ooh, that's a lot. Give them a hand. That's not an easy task. That's not an easy task, okay? When you drop below 7 hours of sleep per night, everything in your life starts to be compromised. But I don't need 7 hours of sleep. I'm special, right? Some of you have operated on 4 or 5 hours of sleep your whole life, and you're fine, right? Yeah. No. The percentage of people who are genetically able to function on less than 7 hours of sleep a night is the same percentage of people who are struck by lightning. So, what has probably happened, and this is what the research shows, if you don't sleep enough, you lose the ability to notice that you've not slept enough. So if you are operating at 40% less of your cognitive ability every day because you've slept less than 7 hours, you don't notice it. You don't notice it if you're not sleeping enough. Your physical condition is compromised by 20 to 50%, depending on what you're doing. Here are just some of the things that are affected by not sleeping enough. Hormones, ability to make decisions, ability to regulate your emotions, every kind of physical performance, every kind of psychological stress you put on yourself is amplified. Your ability to make decisions, your ability to be in relationships. If anyone here is trying to get pregnant, you're totally out of luck. If anyone here is trying to heal from any kind of physical or emotional injury, you have compromised your ability to do that by 20 to 60% if you are on average sleeping less than 7 hours. I'm not talking about 8.5 hours of sleep opportunity, which will bubble you back up. Okay. If you take nothing else from today, go to bed. Go to sleep. Check the time. I think we're going to do an exercise. Let's see. Yes, this is important. Okay. You're going to turn in your little groups. Make little groups of 3, 2 or 3. Okay? And I'm going to give you 3 minutes. I want you to find 1 or 2 additional hours of sleep for next week. Not every night. Just find 1 or 2 additional hours that you can sleep next week. Okay? Find it. There you go. Go ahead. You have 3 minutes. Solve it. What can you do? English, and I can't hear it. I'm not getting a translation. You'll give me another one? Oh, I need to hold it. Hold it. Hold it na rukах. Okay. Говорите.
Мне тоже нужен переводчик, чтобы я понимал это чем.
Can you hear me now? 1, 2, 3.
Она сейчас слышно, надо сказать, чтобы она не убирала в карман, а в руке держала.
Can you? They are asking me to tell you that you shouldn't put the device in your pocket because in that case it's not working. If you could hold it in your hand. Okay, thank you.
I know that you loved it. I know that this is an interesting conversation. Okay. So I'm going to ask one person, just one person. Did anybody? So raise your hand. Did anyone notice that you could find the time if you actually decided you wanted it? Yeah? Okay. So the reason we don't sleep is we have childhood models of basically, first, when we're children, we don't want to go to bed because all the fun things are happening. And then when you get older, you go to school, and when you're in school, you use sleep time to grab extra time to work and play, right? Sleep is sort of the bank of time. You just borrow from it. But then when you become an adult, you can't, and then you get sick, right? If you're in college, you don't sleep during the week, and then on vacation you get sick. Or you sleep on the weekends. When you're adult, you don't get that anymore. It's gone. Okay? So you keep robbing sleep. So just understand that the most important source of resilience, the thing that's going to bubble everything up to fives or as close to it, is sleeping. Okay? And we do a whole workshop on sleep, but that's not today. Okay. So here's how so number one, reliable restorer is sleep. Okay? Now, how do you figure out everything else? There are two things you have to do. Become an expert at knowing what restores and depletes you. Second, manage it. Always. If you have a busy day, plan for it. If you have a busy week, plan for it. I flew in from California yesterday. I planned my sleep and restoration schedule to be good here a month ago. I already lined up what I was going to do and started arranging it. Because you need me here at 100%. You don't need me here now, you had a bad night. I'm going to talk about resilience. Okay. All right. That's it. Two things. This isn't brain surgery. That's over there in surgery. Okay. Okay. To understand what restores you, you don't want to confuse energy and happiness. Okay? What restores you is not always what makes you happy. Now, happiness is energizing, okay? But I swim most mornings. if I go swimming and the water is cold and the man in the pool next to me has the swim paddles on and he's swimming like this and he goes swim, swim, whack, and he hits me every time he goes by. And the lifeguard that I like to say hello to isn't there. And instead, there's a lifeguard who's reading a book instead of watching the pool. When I finish, I'm not happy. In fact, I wasn't happy when I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to the pool. I wasn't happy then either. When I'm finished, and I've been in the water, and I've gotten all the benefits of swimming, I'm restored. Physically, emotionally, a little less emotionally restored because of, the lifeguard wasn't there and I let myself get mad at slappy guy, okay, but I'm restored. Now I wasn't happy. Same thing, if going out and drinking with your friends makes you happy, that's good, but it's not restorative. It might be a little bit restorative in the social stuff, right? So you come back from a night with your friends socially restored, but you paid a physical price because you slept too little and you're dealing with too much alcohol. So it was depleting. Now, if you desperately need the social, okay. But how could you change that to make it less depleting? Go with your friends and have one drink and then drink water, right? There's ways to tweak it. Or don't drink water because you don't drink water in this country, right, when you were with your friends. Sorry. I lived in Macedonia for a while. I used to dance a lot of Bulgarian dances. I have a little bit of information about this side of the world, but not so much. But, okay, no, don't go drink water with your friends. Okay. Okay, so the next piece is you actively manage your resilience, and I'm going to work on it, okay? You minimize what depletes you. You maximize what restores you. And everything else you want to sequence, and I will show you a graph of that, okay? You don't have to memorize this now. Okay, 3 important things to remember. I would rather you not take pictures of all my slides, but I can't stop you. I mean, yeah, a few. Take a few, but save me from all of them. Okay, 3 important caveats about restoring. Remember these things, they'll help you. Number 1, what restores and depletes you comes from behaviors and conditions, and not from a social tag. A social tag is, or a specific task. For example, a commute, right? My commute to work. Typically, we say a commute is depleting. Well, that's not true. Who here has a restorative commute? Okay, tell us.
6 years I have been living in the center of Moscow, but now I moved quite far. Rechnoy station metro, that's quite far. And now I can see earlier, as if I was living in the restaurant, because in the center, in the heart of Moscow, everything is too active. But now I come to my neighborhood and it's dark already, because people are already sleeping there, and I know that I already rest. And then when I'm commuting, I like it very much. I breathe a lot. I stop at the traffic lights, so I like it.
Very good. Okay, so we understand we have to be careful about the social tag, because if you think that a commute is negative and it's do you get the idea? Yes, I have another hand. Yeah.
My reply is not. Years ago, my commute was by bicycle. That's why I use this time to restore myself, because I cross the park in the morning and it was really restorable. But unfortunately in Moscow it's not very much opportunity to do so.
Okay, thank you. Can we turn up the volume on this mic a little bit, please? Okay, so you want to be careful to not make the mistake. A vacation, Who here has been on a vacation that was not restorative? Look around. You thought you were the only one, right? Yeah, right. Family, weather, bad planning. Yeah, we can. We opened an entire business around helping people use their vacation days. All right, to make sure they don't have bad vacations. And the people who buy our services are companies who want their employees to use their vacation days. In fact, in the United States, 700 million vacation days were not used last year. 700 million paid vacation days were not used in the US last year because Americans won't take their vacations for all kinds of crazy reasons. Yeah, so vacations is is a social tag. You want to pay attention to the conditions and the behaviors. Are you on your bicycle? Is it out in nature? Are the right people there? Conditions and behaviors. Okay. Number two, they're different for everyone. What restores and depletes us is different for everyone. Okay, so let's take an example. You wash towels. You take the laundry, you wash the towels. You either put them in the dryer or you hang them on the line. And now they're dry. Now you have to put the towels away. They have to be folded and put away. For whom is folding the towels restorative? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I know you're there. I know you're there. There's more of you. It's going to be almost a third. Go ahead. No, you're there. Yeah. Look around the room. You thought you were the only one who loved folding towels, right? Okay. Tell us why. Who wants to tell a towel folder? Who wants to tell us why it's restorative? Oh, wait. You already spoke. Let's get someone else. Who wants to tell us why folding towels is restorative?
I make little roll-ons of towels.
Can you turn up the mic a little bit, please?
It's silent or no?
Go ahead.
I make little roll-ons. I like this, and
you roll them.
Arrange very good, and it gives me some pleasant feeling.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah. Who else? Who else? Towels. There's a towel folder. Please hand this to her.
It gives me a feeling that I did something good during the day. Like it's not for wasting just time, looking TV or shows.
Yeah, it's a feeling of accomplishment. Yeah. Someone else. There's one more reason. Yeah. Send this to the nice lady in the back, please. Can you get?
I think it also gives you sort of more structure in your life.
It feels like you get control of your life. It's order. Yeah. Okay. Who hates doing this? Who hates it? Let's go to this side of the room. Come on. Kill me now. Shoot me now. I don't want to do this. Go ahead. That was you. Yeah.
Мне не нравится.
Don't like this because this is like routine. This is so you do something monotonous. It's really boring. The same.
It's boring. Come on. Who else? Who else hates this? Over here. You guys are here. Who else hates folding towels? Come on. Someone is. Yeah. Same thing. Waste of time. Monotonous. Go ahead. No, she just, someone else. She agreed with the other lady. It's okay. Okay. You get it? We're different. It's, please.
And I have high ceilings, and towels are very high. And I need a staircase even to do this, to get to the shelf.
Okay. Yeah, one more. Here we have another towel hater. Okay. Hand this back to this nice lady over here.
Well, I don't like it because I spend some time for iron, for cleaning, for taking this. But in this case, I'm thinking about other problems. But mechanical work, routine work,
waste of time.
I don't like it.
Yeah, waste of time. Good. So we're different. Thank you very much to everyone who spoke. We're different. And it's really important to pay attention to the fact that we're different. You can use these as an advantage. Who's good in the morning? Who's very alert in the morning? It's afternoon. Okay, who's good at night? Who's like really good at night? Okay, so think about this. If you're good in the morning, if you have a team or a family and some are good in the morning and some are good in the evening, if all things are equal, let the people who are good in the morning do their work in the morning. Let the people who are good in the evening do their work in the evening. Right? Forcing everyone to do everything is good for training, but it's a waste of energy once it's already done. So in a household, divide up. Use the differences here to help people. Okay. One more thing, they change over time. What restores and depletes you changes over time. So think about something that used to be depleting that is now restorative. Yes, I have someone who's going to share one of them. Sir.
Ну, знаете, бывает такое...
You know, sometimes you are sitting at work and sometimes you do monotonous work, boring work, but then, so next time you continue to do this and then you think, you know, that's not so bad already and it's getting pleasant because there is worse work and you like it even less.
Who has something else that used to be restorative and is something that changed? It could have gone the other way. To the nice lady in the back.
I am depleted when I face not interesting people. This is a waste of time. When you stop socializing with such not interesting people, it's becoming much better.
What changed? Workout.
Workout used to be?
It used to be depleting.
And now?
And now it's restorative.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need to, for many, and I know you all have stories, for many people, you know, I teach, we did this work with McKinsey management consultants from all over the world. And a lot of so the ones who were 25, 26 started to say, 27, said, drinking a lot used to be restorative. And it's not so much anymore, right? Things change. It's important because when you are looking for something to restore you, if you use something that used to work that changed, you're going the wrong direction. Okay, so just be aware. Okay, I want to get to I want to get to a chance for you to try this out. Okay, so I'm not going to talk a lot about this. I'm just going to put them up very quickly. Because we're all different, there are a few reliable restorers, okay? Number one is sleep. If you do nothing else, go to bed. Go to bed. Go to bed. Are we clear? What should you do? Right. In Russian, what should you do? Thank you. Okay. Things that are also need to be paid attention to. Sunlight. Seasonal affective disorder is insufficient sunlight that causes depression. 80% of all humans have noticeable changes in the winter. That's noticeable. All right? Some of us are clinical. I have seasonal affective disorder. I can't see. My vision changes when it's dark. I get lost. I went to school in Boston. It wasn't fun. That's why I live in California and Israel, because it's too dark for me, okay? Sunlight, maximize your sunlight. That means if you're, and everything you can do to get as much sunlight as possible, especially in the winter. Okay, put on sunblock and get in the light. Okay, flow. This is Csikszentmihalyi's work on peak experiences. And there's a whole workshop on that. But if you know something is reliably restorative for you, force yourself to do it. Even if you don't feel like it. Okay? If you know that when you're finished, For me, it's dancing at festivals. I did many kinds of dancing. Going to a certain dance festival, I will travel for hours and hours and travel sometimes a whole day and a half to go to a dance festival for 3 days to dance with my friends because it's reliably restorative. I get into flow. Okay? So force yourself to do the things that you know work for you. It is not self-indulgent and vain. It is personal responsibility. Are we getting this? Okay. Sensory input and movement. I didn't write exercise. Everyone needs exercise, but it is the combination of sensory input and movement that determine whether it's restorative for you or not. So when I talk about sensory input, we're talking about how it feels and how it smells and what you see. And we're different. There's also the semi-conscious senses, which are vestibular, is one of them. So you know you have fluid in your ears, right? So move your head like this. Okay, and move your head like this. And then if you move it this way, okay. That's what you feel is vestibular stimulation. Okay? Who here loves roller coasters and flipping upside down, right? Who loves that? Okay, your sensory profile is different from the other people. Who here hates that? Winding roads, boats. Who here says, not for me? Okay, you have a different sensory profile. What restores those of us who like to flip upside down is depleting for them. So you need to know think about your sensory profile and get the kind of exercise that works for you. If it's loud in the gym and you're sensitive to lots of people, don't go to the gym when there's lots of people and noise there. Right? It's not, oh, this is a great class. Maybe for you it's great, and maybe for you it's torture. Okay? So spend time figuring out what sensory input you need. Okay? All right. So we talked about sleep. If I asked you what depletes you, you could probably start telling me. Conversations with in-laws, working, doing spreadsheets, whatever. Everybody's pretty good at understanding a little bit what depletes them. These are the ones that are sneaky, okay? These, sometimes you don't notice them. And I'm not going to do them all. A sensory hijack, something that takes your sensory attention. So now you hear the sound in the hall, and the sound of my voice, and the sound of the translator. For whom is that really difficult? For some, it's got to be bothering somebody. Yeah. Okay? That's a sensory hijack, right? This sound is taking your energy. Thank you for staying, even though it's hard. Okay? But it's difficult. So you want to watch for that clutter. If you have lots of things at your desk, it might be bothering you. So try to remove the sensory things that are disturbing you. Interruptions. If you are focused and in flow and working thinking really well or engaged in something fully, and someone interrupts you, or your phone goes bing, or it just flashes that your mother-in-law is calling. You don't have to answer the phone. You've already been interrupted. It can take you 15 minutes to recover. You need to turn off your phones. You need to protect your senses. 15 minutes for every interruption. How many times per hour are you interrupted? The cognitive load you are carrying is enormous because you have to keep dragging yourself back. There is no such thing as multitasking. Only parallel processors and computers can multitask. Human brains don't multitask consciously. What you're doing is rapid task shifting. Okay? So I'm focused on this, and I'm focused on that, and I'm focused on this, and I'm focused on that. And it's not efficient. It's exhausting you. That's not walking and chewing gum, okay? Walking and chewing gum, both of them become semi-conscious. But consciously doing two things, you're draining your energy for no reason. Listening to a talk and texting, you're not doing either one both well. You're not doing either one well. Okay. Let's do one more. Emotional labor. Emotional labor is managing your emotions for work, and you do it all day, every day for your family too. Okay? This work was originally done on flight attendants. The research was done on flight attendants. If you are managing your emotions, for example, the flight attendant says, "Passengers, thank you for flying with us. The emergency oxygen mask has just dropped from the compartment above you. Please stop screaming and breathe slowly." That's emotional labor. Okay? Making sure that you're happy and pleasant when you're not. People who call bill collectors, I don't know if this is a thing in Russia, bill collectors, the guys who call up and say, "If you don't, send us the money, we're going to come take your car." They're angry all day for work. They're not angry, they're fine, right? So emotional labor is exhausting. Know that you are doing emotional labor all day, every day, with your family, with the policeman, with everybody you interact with. We're being nice. And maybe here you don't smile so much when you're being nice, but you're still regulating, and it's exhausting. So for most people, be careful that you spend enough time alone. Because that's the only time you can culturally and legally and legitimately just not regulate. So be very careful, especially if you're working in an environment with a team. You have to be, and there's a good reason to do it. All the research on teams and interactions show that that's important, but you're paying for it. Okay, let's try this stuff out. Clicker. Okay. You have a piece of paper. I'm sorry it's in English. I will slowly give you the instructions. You need the paper and a pen. In the top box where you see many lines, write down, and please don't write in English because that's too much cognitive load. This is only for you, okay? More papers, they're gone. Take a blank piece of paper and pretend. Okay? I want you to think of something that you avoid doing. Something that's difficult for you. We don't have any more of. You can take, here, someone can tear out pages from my notebook for blank paper. Think of something that you avoid doing or that's difficult for you. For me, it's submitting my expenses back to the employer, right? My travel expenses. I hate it. I do everything I can to avoid it. I hate it. Okay, pick something that you hate, that you avoid doing or don't like doing, and here's some paper. And if anyone ever wanted something from Israel, it's a notebook from Israel. Now you have paper from the Holy Land. Okay. Okay. Does everyone have something that's hard for you to do or that you avoid doing? Pick a small thing, okay? Don't say raising children, okay? One thing. Do you have something? Okay, now, I'm going to, give you a chance to, we're going to analyze this for the behaviors and conditions under which you do it. Right? And once we've done that, you can look to see if there's something about this task that you can change. So for me, if it's the expensing, all right, what are the physical conditions? The first box, the first row is physical. Under what physical conditions do you do this? So when I'm expensing, I sit at my desk, or I used to, right? I'm sitting at my desk, right? And it's not bright enough, I'm not in the sun, and my body doesn't like to sit, right? What are the physical conditions under which you do this? Are you inside? Are you outside? Are you sitting? Are you standing? Are you cold? Are you hot? Is it noisy? What is the physical environment around you and what's happening in your body while you're doing this? And you can put it. I'll give you 30 more seconds and we'll go on. Perfect. Okay. Now the second is, what are the social conditions around you? Are you alone? Are you with one other person? Are you with two other people or with a small group? Do you know these people? What's your relationship to them? If you are sitting in a coffee shop, you are alone together. You're by yourself, but there are other people around you, but you're not interacting with them. What is your relationship to these people who are around you? Is it your boss? Is it your husband? Is it your child? Is it someone who could give you your next job or throw you out of your house? What's your relationship with the person around you? And what's your role? Are you the leader? Are you the follower? What are you doing? What's your role with these people? Are you the peacekeeper? Okay, cognitively, what kind of thinking do you have to do? What kind of thinking are you doing? Are you are you making decisions? Are you bored? What's the cognitive load? Is this something that you could do easily if you had more time? Or do you have way too much time to do this and you're bored and you need to distract yourself subconsciously while you're doing it? Psychologically and emotionally. And I know you need more. You can take these home and finish it. And once you know how to do the exercise, you can do some more. Psychologically and emotionally, what is your emotional state when you're doing this? Are you mad at yourself because you waited too long to do it? What is your narrative? What story are you telling yourself about this task that might be making it more difficult or easy? My story with reimbursements is you're a professional failure, because if you were really good, you would have your receipts and your reimbursements submitted within 3 days. I have a whole story I've made up in my head that punishes me while I'm doing it. I changed it because I know I did the form. What's your story? What's the emotional energy in the room? Is everybody, when you're doing this, is everybody around you upset? Emotions are contagious. We catch them from other people. So what's the emotional conditions in yourself and around you? And what's your story? So when you are ready, turn to your shoe partner, look at your form, and look to see what you could change to make this easier. If you see that the narrative in your head doesn't serve you, you could make a new story. If there's too much noise, you could wear earplugs or do it somewhere else. Do you get the idea? How can you change the behaviors and conditions to make this less difficult? You have 1 minute with your shoe partner. Go ahead. Solve this. Talk to them and say, this is what I can do to help. Okay. Are we back? Come back. Come back. I hope that you'll continue these conversations with yourself or with others. And I don't have time to hear your stories, but I will stand outside of the room as long as you want to talk to you when we're done. Who saw something that they might be able to change, or heard something today that might help you to have more energy moving forward? If you found something that might help you today. Great. So remember I said try to make more restorative things, try to reduce depleting behaviors and conditions, and then what's left we're going to strategically sequence. That's this up here. So sometimes every down arrow here is something depleting. Every up arrow in this diagram is something that's restorative. This is the day of a worker at Club Med who worked at Baby Club. That means she took care of somebody else's screaming babies all day. So if you go starting from number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see her day. In the morning she would get up and have breakfast and walk to the club. That's number 1. Then 2 is Baby Club working. 3 is lunch. 4 is exercises by the pool. 5 is more Baby Club. Screaming babies. 6 is take a shower. 7 is have dinner. 8 is have drinks with the guests who think that you're wonderful because you took care of their babies. 9 is perform in the show in the evening. 10 is dance around the pool. 11 is the staff meeting, because at Club Med you have to have staff meetings at 11 o'clock at night, and rehearsal. 12 o'clock is rehearsal, singing a solo for the show in the night before, and the night after, in a song she doesn't like. 13 is go to sleep. This worker is a very high-performing worker. Now, watch what happens if she skips lunch and skips the pool. So take 3 and 4 out, and she ends up below that red line. Do you see that? The math, the vector math changes. The red line is the burnout line. When you burn out, the things that naturally restore you don't work so well, right? A cup of coffee, a conversation with your friend, a good night's sleep, they don't work. They have no impact. When you get stuck below the line, you're burnt out. What helps you doesn't work. And what depletes you is amplified. So if I say, you know, your shirt has a stain on it, you cry because you are below the line. Right? So the green is the optimal energy range. Normal is your normal energy range. Yellow is when you're on reserves. And red is burnout. You want to stay out of the burnout range. So if you have things in your life which you know are depleting and you can't change them, then make sure that you strategically sequence them so that you don't push yourself below the line. That means don't skip lunch, don't skip the gym, because you need that to keep you above the line. Does this make sense? Okay, I have 46 seconds. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for letting me help you help me heal the world. Thank you. Oh. You want to make me cry, don't you? I will, if there's a meeting in this room, I will be standing there for as long as you want. So don't rush over. I'm there. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Have 5 seconds to spare.